Tatiana Schlossberg was a name that carried history, intellect, and quiet strength all at once. Born into one of America's most recognizable families, she nonetheless chose a life defined not by headlines or political ambition, but by thoughtful work, personal integrity, and deep commitment to the people she loved. Since the news of her passing became public, many have begun searching for information about her funeral, wondering how her life will eventually be honored, how her family may choose to pay tribute, and who might gather to remember her. Today, we speak about the funeral only in context about Tatiana Schlossberg's life, her values, and the legacy she leaves behind for her family, her readers, and the wider world. Tatiana Schlossberg died on the 30th of December 2025 at the age of 35. She was the middle child of Caroline Kennedy and Edwin Schlossberg, and a member of the Kennedy family, a name long associated with public service, tragedy, and resilience. Yet Tatiana's life was marked by a conscious effort to remain grounded and private. Her death followed a battle with acute myeloid leukemia, a diagnosis she courageously revealed in an essay published by The New Yorker in November 2025. In that deeply personal piece, she explained that she learned of her illness shortly after giving birth to her second child, a daughter, a moment that forever altered her understanding of time, motherhood, and mortality. While much public attention focused on her family background, those closest to Tatiana knew her first and foremost as a devoted wife and mother. She was married to Dr. George Moran, whom she met while both were students at Yale University. Their relationship developed quietly, away from public attention, rooted in shared values rather than status. The couple married in 2017 and built a family together, welcoming 2 children, a son, Edwin, and a daughter, Josephine. Tatiana was deeply protective of her children's privacy, choosing to raise them away from media exposure and public scrutiny. Motherhood was central to Tatiana Schlossberg's identity. In her writing, she reflected honestly on the emotional complexity of raising children while facing a life-threatening illness. She described the fear of leaving them too soon, but also the profound love that gave her strength during treatment. These reflections were not dramatic or self-pitying. Instead, they were clear-eyed, tender, and deeply human. Readers responded strongly to this honesty, finding comfort in her willingness to articulate feelings that many struggle to express. Professionally, Tatiana Schlossberg was an accomplished journalist and author. She worked as a reporter for the New York Times, focusing primarily on climate change and environmental issues. Her reporting stood out for its clarity and balance. Rather than presenting environmental challenges as distant or abstract, she connected them to everyday life, showing how individual choices, industries, and policies intersect to shape the future. Her work reflected a belief that information, when presented thoughtfully, could empower people rather than overwhelm them. In 2019, she published her book, Inconspicuous Consumption, which examined how everyday habits from technology use to food choices contribute to environmental degradation. The book was widely praised for its accessible tone and careful research. Tatiana did not write as someone standing above her readers. Instead, she positioned herself as part of the same system she was analyzing. This humility made her work resonate with a broad audience, including readers who might otherwise feel alienated by environmental discourse. At public events and book signings, Tatiana Schlossberg came across as thoughtful and composed. She spoke with quiet confidence, focusing on ideas rather than herself. Those who met her often remarked on her warmth and attentiveness, qualities that reflected her overall approach to life. Even as her illness progressed, she remained intellectually engaged, continuing to write and reflect as her health allowed. Her husband, Dr. George Moran, has built a career centered on medicine and research. Raised in Greenwich, Connecticut, Moran pursued his medical education at Columbia University before completing his residency in urology at New York Presbyterian Columbia University Irving Medical Center. He now serves as an attending urologist and assistant professor of urology at Columbia University Irving Medical Center. His clinical focus includes benign prostatic hyperplasia, male voiding dysfunction, and prostate cancer screening and diagnosis. Alongside his clinical work, he has contributed to academic research with publications in respected medical journals. Throughout Tatiana's illness, Moran balanced the demands of his medical career with the responsibilities of caring for his family. Those familiar with the couple have noted the strength of their partnership during this time. While Tatiana faced treatment and uncertainty, Moran remained a constant presence, supporting her while also caring for their young children. Their relationship, largely kept out of public view, was marked by mutual respect and resilience. Growing up as part of the Kennedy family, Tatiana Schlossberg was no stranger to public attention or historical weight. As the daughter of Caroline Kennedy and the niece of John F. Kennedy Jr., she inherited a legacy shaped by both achievement and loss. Yet she never sought to replicate the political paths of earlier generations. Instead, she forged her own identity through journalism, writing, and intellectual inquiry. Her work reflected a modern form of public service, one grounded in information, reflection, and long-term thinking rather than public office. Colleagues described Tatiana as disciplined, thoughtful, and deeply prepared. Editors valued her ability to approach complex topics with nuance, while fellow journalists admired her integrity. She was known for listening carefully, revising diligently, and prioritizing accuracy over speed. In an era of rapid news cycles, her approach felt deliberate and principled. The reaction to Tatiana Schlossberg's death has been marked by a sense of quiet mourning rather than spectacle. Fellow writers, environmental advocates, and public figures have shared tributes highlighting her courage, intellect, and kindness. Many readers have revisited her final essay, describing it as both heartbreaking and comforting. Rather than focusing solely on illness, the piece explored love, uncertainty, and the meaning found in ordinary moments, a perspective that continues to resonate. Her children, Edwin and Josephine, are too young to fully understand the scope of their mother's work or the public response to her passing. Yet they will grow up with a remarkable record of who she was, not just as a member of a famous family, but as a writer, thinker, and mother who faced extraordinary challenges with honesty and grace. Her words will remain, offering them insight into her values, her voice, and her love. Tatiana Schlossberg's life serves as a reminder that legacy is not measured by longevity alone. In just 35 years, she made meaningful contributions to journalism, environmental discourse, and public understanding. She balanced a demanding career with deep family devotion, and she confronted illness without losing her sense of self. Her story is not one of tragedy alone, but of purpose, connection, and quiet strength. Her writing continues to offer guidance to readers navigating uncertainty, whether related to health, climate, or life's unpredictability. By sharing her experience so openly, she gave others permission to reflect honestly on their own fears and hopes. This generosity of spirit is perhaps one of her most enduring contributions. At this time, it is important to note that the funeral has not yet taken place, and the family has not announced any official funeral details or arrangements. They are understandably focused on privacy and on supporting one another during this deeply personal period. As soon as any confirmed updates are made public, we will share them with you first. Until then, Tatiana Schlossberg is remembered not through ceremonies, but through the lasting impact of her words, her work, and the love she gave to her family.